Welcome back to FTBL Culture. It's your boy CultureCams. Last week we had such a good episode. The Ancelotti 11 went absolutely crazy. I mean, the timeline was booming. Barcelona accounts were fuming. It just dominated the timeline. It was such a good episode. Everyone was involved in the comments as well. We saw you 110%. But again, today I'm joined by the running mate, you know what I mean, Lyes.
My guy.
What you saying, man?
It's always a pleasure. Last week, man, I told y'all at the start, all-timer episode. We didn't disappoint.
You did say.
So look, the first time was so nice. We got to do it twice.
Yeah, the numbers were good as well. So let's keep them numbers up as well. But this one today, as you can see in the title, it's going to be a little bit of a versus this time. You know what I mean? We're going to kind of go head to head. We've looked at our teams. We've spoken about it a little bit, but we haven't actually fully confirmed who our teams are. It's actually the all-time individual performances by position in Champions League history. And we're going to make it a 5-a-side team each. So at the end, of course, we want you guys to let us know through the individual performances, not the individual player or the individual performances, what's the best 5-a-side team? So listen, people, when you're doing the vote, I need to make sure that they understand. When you're doing the voting, it's not about what team would win on the pitch. Or it's not about
who has the best players career-wise. Individual performance.
Yes.
Which are the best?
That's exactly it. So, I mean, listen, I like to think that we're purists. You know, we're purists, we're historians. We ain't going for no goalkeepers. I'm sorry. You guys already know what I think about
footballers
goalkeepers.
Only.
Exactly. You guys know what I think about goalkeepers, and today I'm not putting one. Last week, you know, we put Courtois in the team, and that seemed to be the most controversial. I knew I should have stuck with Buffon. I knew it. I knew I should have stuck with Buffon.
Out of all the picks, that was the one that got the most controversy.
Literally, it was absolutely mental. But no goalkeeper. This is a 5-a-side. Listen, rush goalie. Rush goalie. You guys know what it's like. Rush goalie. We ain't doing no goalkeepers. So let's start from the back. I'll let you go first with
let me go first.
I'll let you go first with your nominee.
All right.
For your team. So it's going to be centre back, could be a right back, could be a left back. Depends. It's up to you. But in the defensive position, who you going with?
Everyone says I'm an Inter merchant, basically. At this point, honestly, that's probably my second team. The team in my heart after United.
Why are you wearing an AC Milan top? The irony!
Is this him running?
Hey, Inter Milan at heart while wearing a Milan jersey.
You know what's funny though about the Milan derby, right?
You see these 2010 fans?
Don't do that.
Oh my days.
The thing is though, Milan and Inter fans dislike each other less than Inter and Juve and Milan and Juve. So I can get away with this. Is like a friendly rivalry here. I got love for Milan too, but everyone knows me as
friendly rivalry.
Inter, and it's always Inter 2009-10 merchant. But I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick on brand. Lucio versus Chelsea in 2009-10 was such a commanding performance, not just because of the round that they were in and the season, of course, that they ended up having in the Champions League, but Lucio found himself in both legs up against arguably the hottest striker on the planet in form at that time, Didier Drogba. Ancelotti had Drogba hooping. We talked about him last week on that episode. 29 goals in 32 appearances, physically dominant, getting others into play, a handful, a locomotive for any defender. But Lucio silenced him over two legs, bro. In the form of his life, Lucio silenced him. And Lucio was one of the few defenders for me that had the physical tools to cope with someone like Drogba.
It was a mad
physically a monster, aggressive as well. It's not just like one of these big guys. It's like a friendly giant. He's a monster, a beast. And as well as that, Lucio for me was one of the OGs in terms of defenders who pick up the ball from deep and can just carry it forward. Like, he's a modern day center back playing in the 2000s.
Which game are you going for? Is it the Stamford Bridge?
I'm going for the one at the San Siro. The one at the San Siro was a colossal performance.
That was a bad
brother, Lucio that year. And that was like one of Mourinho's signings that year. Unbelievable.
Lucio is going to be your pick, 100%. I've got to go Sergio Ramos, Mr. Champions League. That 2014 performance against Pep's Bayern Munich, who at that time, Bayern Munich had just come off the treble. Everyone was thinking, all right, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid with Pep. Yo, this might be OD. We know what happens when Pep rolled up with Barcelona. It used to get scary out there.
Facts.
But Real Madrid walked in there like, this is our year. You know what I mean? And somebody that completely kind of captivated that was Ramos. That was like the season where Ramos, it's like his first foot into, I missed the Champions League here. You know what I mean? And that performance, 4-0. So a clean sheet at the Allianz, as well as 2 goals and 2 important goals when they run riot that game. People are only going to think about the goals, but his actual performance as well. They had Lua, they had Ribery, they had Robin, I believe. It was a super team. That was still at that point a super team, what Pep Guardiola had. We saw him go on and do it in the Champions League final as well, but that's where it started. And I believe he did the... It was hard, man. That was... Sergio, I can't say that was his breakout year. That's ridiculous to say.
I think that was the year that I started looking at Ramos. Okay, this is an elite center back.
He's a general.
Yeah,
he's a general. That's the best. I think that's the best way to use it. That is the time where he fully felt like a general. And yeah, he wasn't the captain of the team. It was still Casillas, I believe, at the time. But he felt like the on-pitch captain, you know what I mean? It was just different. So I'm going to have to go Sergio Ramos. Listen, I'm not going to talk about... I just said I'm not going to talk about who would win in a 5-a-side, but... he's a little bit of a baller in my team, but no.
We'll see what you say. He's chasing his first touch of it.
Driving in a 5-a-side hype, but listen, I'm going to go Sergio Ramos in my one. So
2 good picks.
You got Lucio, I got Sergio Ramos. I'll go first with this one. In my midfield position, so I'm going to go 3 midfielders.
Same.
In a way, one of them might be a forward, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go 3 midfielders. The first one I'm going to go with is Steven Gerrard versus AC Milan in the Champions League final. This is an interesting one because obviously the first half, 3-0 down, he gets turned by Kaká. Kaká gives it Crespo scores, right? And you're thinking, wow, this could be 6-7, right? Yeah. But then Steven Gerrard in the second half, something took over him, bro. Like, he read a different script.
The spirit of Anfield all the way to Istanbul.
It's the spirit of Shankly.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's the spirit of Shankly. Everyone, when their heads were down, they injected something in his veins, bro. Like, Haaland came on that made a difference. Yeah. But Gerrard, that first header, boom, lobs Dida, tells the fans, come on. You know when you score 3-0 down, everyone else is probably looking around thinking, consolation. He's believing, he's telling them, come on.
Hold on then.
So he's there, he's telling the fans, come on. Like something took over him. And then he goes and wins the penalty. Dubious? Yeah. Probably, but you've still got to be there. Your will to win has got to be high. And Gerrard carried them through their moments. Now, it wasn't just a one-man show, but his individual performance to then even end up at right back in the extra time, slide tackling, fighting for every ball. Him and Carragher, it was a proper... We are here, like, we are Scousers, you know what I mean?
Merseyside, this is for you.
It was like, honestly, like, it was like 2 academy boys, and the way Steven Gerrard just represented that. And I'm being serious, like, with that Champions League final, you can talk about Xavi, you can talk about Iniesta, Zidane, and I only think Steven Gerrard is a player that was capable of doing something like that. Like
dragging a team like that.
And to think that in the start of the competition, the Olympiacos moment, when the chips are down, Gerrard rises. And I think that type of performance, I have got to put Steven Gerrard versus AC Milan as one of the best Champions League performances of all time.
That's not a hot take whatsoever. Gerrard, honestly, as someone who everyone knows, I'm not a huge fan of Liverpool, and that's an understatement. I've always had actually a soft spot for Gerrard. I've always loved watching him play football. Like, that's my kind of midfielder. He's direct, he's energetic, he grabs games by the scruff of the neck. I always loved that about Gerrard. And that performance is all-timer, like you just said. Yeah. Me, I went for a different kind of midfield performance still. You, of course, have the hero in Steven Gerrard, grabbing games, driving forward, scoring goals. I went for control. And I think when you think of the word control, guys, there's only one man that should come to mind. Xavi. And Xavi in 2009 against Man United, arguably the greatest club side of all time, that Barca team. If it's not them, you could even argue it's the 2011 version where he was also great in that final. But that 2009 final, where we were coming in, like you said, Man United came into that final thinking, okay, we're the reigning Champions League winners. We just demolished Arsenal. We're in great form. Barca had just struggled against Chelsea, and we already had their number. So we were almost thinking, this is a walk in the park. We got our best player in the world. They got theirs. Put your chips on the table. And we couldn't get near them that night. And I really thought to myself, Cam, do I go with Iniesta in one of those finals, or do I go with Xavi? Because both of them were tremendous. But Xavi in that first final, bro, was a metronome.
Yeah.
The amount of touches he generated, bro. Every 5 seconds, you just see him with the ball at his feet. Short pass,
took the life out of us, man.
Bro, the first 10 minutes of that final, United had something about them. And then once they allowed Xavi alongside Iniesta to get on the ball, it was curtains, bro. And of course, he has the assist to Messi.
Yeah. Messi didn't have the greatest game. That was really a game for Xavi, for Iniesta, for Busquets as well. He was different. So that is definitely a good shot.
So Xavi, for me, that performance was like midfield dominance encapsulated. And then like you saw those performances so much more along the years now. You look at the Euro team in 2012, the World Cup, the Barca teams that came. But that final was what, for me, and I think for most people, put Barca on the map. It's like, okay, United and Sir Alex and Ronaldo can't cope with these guys. And at the heart of it, Xavi. So I go with him.
We'll do that. I'll let you go again. For your next one. So I got Gerrard in 2005, AC Milan, Istanbul. You've got Xavi in the 2009 against Manchester United in the final general.
And I've gone for one defender, one central midfielder, two on either side of him, and one guy up front. I'll give you the guys on either side. On the left-hand side, it was kind of a competition for me between two Brazilian maestros. Between Ronaldinho, who had this performance in the semi-final against AC Milan at the San Siro. I believe the year they ended up winning the Champions League, where I thought he was irresistible. I mean, everyone knows that clip of him like flicking it over Gattuso, flicking it over Nesta and Pirlo, and he has the assist to Gulli. But I just thought in general, that was Ronaldinho at the peak of his powers, and no one could get near him. He's often compared to the modern day version of him in some sorts, and that's Neymar. And we go back a lot, back and forth about which version of Neymar was better. Was it the PSG version or whether it was the Barcelona version? And I think the version that probably meets both of them halfway in the middle, really the end of his time at Barca going to the beginning of his time at PSG, is ironically Barcelona versus PSG. The comeback, La Remontada, where the first leg Barca are 4-0 down. They're done. Everyone has written them off. This MSN era is almost coming to an end in some people's eyes. What do they have in response at the Camp Nou? All the eyes are on Messi, all the eyes are on Suarez, Iniesta, but it's Neymar who really grabs that game by the scruff of the neck. I mean, again, another performance where he's running at players, wins a penalty by just being so direct, so creative. And then the last 10 minutes, he took over, bro. 10 minutes left in the game. That's over. Barcelona need 3 goals. And he grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, carried his team to that victory. The free kick was outrageous. Wins the penalty and scores it. And then the last kick of the game.
That little dink to Sergio.
It's not even just that. The free kick that he takes at first is short. And he immediately gets it back. And people are probably saying, just put it in the box, put it in the box. And he has the audacity and the calmness. Pretends to put it in. Quick ball roll. Puts it on his left foot. Dinks it over the defense perfectly to Sergio Roberto. And of course, Roberto gets the flowers. And Messi, you see the picture of him with the fans at the end. But it's Neymar, bro. It's Neymar who announced himself as, yo, I'm a threat to this throne, bro. I'm a threat to being the best player in the world. You know how it ended up going. Goes to PSG and doesn't work out that way. But that for me is one of the most iconic and one-man shows in Champions League history. That's really what this is about, right? Individual performances.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, that's a great one, man, because I feel like I think people do give him his credit for that. The individual performance kind of gets a bit brushed away.
And I also think that's probably why, at the end of the day, Neymar wanted to leave so much. He had just done this unbelievable feat. And the attention really wasn't on him.
It
was on like, wow, Messi and Roberto. I think so, maybe.
Bro. I'm going to go with another Brazilian as well in my one. You know what I mean? And I think people should know when I say I'm going for another Brazilian and we're talking about individual, iconic performances at historic grounds.
Go on.
I've got to go Kaká, 2007, Manchester United. This guy was like, yeah, all right. The talk in the town right now is Ronaldo might be the best. I'm around, you know what I mean? I'm here too. I might be the humble one, you know what I mean? I belong to Jesus and all that.
Yeah.
But let me show guys I can do some demonic stuff on the pitch, bro. The guy...
I like that.
The guy...
That was hard.
I'm putting in it.
This guy's trying to take the archive to another level. The boy of Jesus came in with a devilish performance against the Red Devils.
Meow. But listen, Kaká, man, oh my goodness. Like, Kaká, he just came and the way he destroyed Manchester United, right? I mean, you look at the first goal, like the way he was just put through, him and the keeper, slots it, calm. And you know when the net makes a sound and the stadium goes quiet?
Yeah.
He's just running off like, you're like, okay, all right. You know what I mean? All right, he's here. But you're still thinking at Old Trafford, Man United could do something because let's keep it 100. At that point, Man United could compete with AC Milan, in my opinion. Like, as I said, we got one of the best players in the world. We got Wayne Rooney. We got all these guys. So you're thinking, all right, we can still do something. And you look at in the second goal. I'm sure if you can ask Kaká, right? what's your crowning moment
It's that goal.
to win the Ballon d'Or? Even though, okay, he had to go win the Champions League. Well, that goal will be played forever.
Yeah.
Gets the ball over. First of all, he's battling with a couple guys. Flicks it over. Evra comes steam training into his own boy. You got into hand, say bam.
And then he headers it between the two of them.
Flicks it, heads it between the collision. For him to then just open up his body, slot it bottom bins again, and then just go off. And I love the way he celebrated as well. He just ran off. It was raining. What a performance that was. He lit up Old Trafford. And it wasn't only that as well. He was passing it. He was fizzing it between the lines. He was running. He was covering ground. So Kaká has to go in my one, man. 2007, Ballon d'Or year. I'm here. I got to announce myself. And it was funny because that was the year that 3 English teams made it to the semi-finals. And Kaká said, you know what? I'm a slay you guys.
That happened a lot, by the way. 3 English teams in the semi-final. Yeah. Barca did it in 09, 10, or 08, 09, excuse me.
Yeah, that's true, actually. So, I'm going to go with Kaká, 2007. He makes my team. Even though we won that game,
felt like, oh, man.
It did
we
feel like
San Siro and not concede.
And we know what happened at the San Siro. He done us again. Yeah. Got 3 goals in that time, man. It is... Kaká was just different level, man.
I'm going to let you go again, just because I picked the first one.
Okay.
So it's on you. Who you got on the right?
It's Lionel Messi, man. Now, look, when I say Lionel Messi, people are probably now sitting here thinking, which one though? Which one?
Exactly, bro.
The one I'm going for. Now, people may sit back now, Messi's won a World Cup and all that type of stuff, and act like it was never a debate. These times, 09, 10, it was a debate. Ronaldo or Messi. You know, Ronaldo just landed in La Liga, and I'm a Ronaldo guy. You know what I mean? I was a Ronaldo guy. So I'm still like, nah, it's Ronaldo, bro. Are you dumb? Left foot, right foot, tall headers. I was still running that narrative. You know what I mean?
You're a Madrid over Barcelona.
And I'm a Madrid guy over Barcelona. So I'm like, no, Ronaldo's the best in the world. And Messi pops up versus Arsenal. 09, 010. That home fixture.
The first leg had been 2-2.
Yep.
And then in that game, Bentner had put Arsenal ahead.
Yep.
So they were 1-0 up, 3-2 on aggregate with away goals.
And then Messi just rose, bro. That performance, the 4 goals, bro, that is football masterclass, bro. Like Arsene Wenger said after the game, it felt like a guy on a PlayStation. Yeah. And I swear to you, it genuinely felt like that. That is the moment where me and my boy were watching it together. I just looked at him and I said, we were both Ronaldo guys.
Yeah.
I said, I think this is the best guy I've ever seen in my life. Because you know, them times it was still Zidane and stuff, Ronaldo and these. But that chip, that little lob, he threw on goal, Messi for the hat trick, lobs the key. I was like, nah, cut the camera.
All 4 goals were gassed. Even the 4th one where he shoots it out, Munya comes back and then he megs him.
Drills it. Like, bro, honestly, I was like, this is the best player I've ever seen. And from there, obviously, he's gone on to do what he needed to do.
He's not had a bad career, you're right. He's been all right.
Honestly, like that Messi performance in 2010, just for how it made me feel.
Yeah. In terms of pure quality, I think that might be Messi's best.
That one was just, nah, man. Messi, man.
We go back and forth about this, right? What was Messi's best year ever? And I think you favor more the 10-11, the early, long, like floppy-haired Messi and like
that was
the boyish Messi.
Yeah,
but for me, I always look at completeness. What was the version of a player where they were just like everything about them was just Rolls Royce, bro? And for me, 14-15, the second treble that he won with Barca, for me, that's my favorite version of Messi because that's where like free kicks started getting incorporated and he was like playmaking from deep, but still scoring goals, decisive. And the game that I think about the most was against Bayern. This is Pep returning to Barcelona with Bayern. And this for me was really the super team, right? Lua, Moller, Ribéry, Robben, they were unbelievable. And I think for 60, 70 minutes, Bayern were playing very well defensively. In fact, they had this tactic where, looking back on it now, it's ridiculous. 3 center backs against MSN. Man mark. It's just like, Pep, what are you doing? For 60, 70 minutes, like Barca were peppering them, but they just didn't break them down. And you had Neuer, of course, at the peak of his powers. But you need one man with one moment of magic to just break down a defense. And every single time, no matter what player you like, it's Messi. That's the guy you got to take. The first one that he gets is he gets the ball, cuts in, and then just screams it near post against Manuel Neuer. And just when they think they're getting back into it, Messi picks up the ball from the same position. 1v1 against Boateng. Barbecue chicken. Starts running at him, does that little mazy run where he goes inside and then outside. Boateng falls down like a stack of cards and he just dinks it over the best goalkeeper for me of all time. And then he has the assist for Neymar for the third. That for me was just a player. You want to talk about a player taking over a game and saying, I'm going to win this game for my team.
Yeah.
That was Messi, the peak of his powers for me against one of the best teams I've seen. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I mean, as I said, we can say so many Messi, the AC Milan performance as well. There's so many that you can just say for Messi. Obviously, people can decide whichever one, but I'm going to go Messi 2010.
I'll go Messi 14-15.
14-15 is cool. Who are you going to put up top? This is going to be an interesting one because obviously there's been some iconic performances.
But this is the Champions League. And there's only one man for the Champions League. This is coming from me. This is coming from me. Everyone says I'm a Ronaldo hater. I promise you guys. Okay. I like Ronaldo. I don't like him recently, but peak Ronaldo, that's a problem, bro. That's the king of the Champions League. And there's so many different versions, bro. I don't know if you're going to go for him. For me, 2016-17, Noodle Hair Ronaldo against Atletico Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. Brother, this was Ronaldo where it was just like inevitable. Every year I was like, Real Madrid aren't going to do it again. They're not going to do it again. Ronaldo has to stop eventually.
Yeah.
But that was the game I think for me that I was like, yo, I'm up against the guy that like I can't beat right now, bro.
He's Thanos.
Ronaldo was Thanos. And that semifinal against Atletico Madrid, the goals that he scored, the volley where it just like bounces up perfectly
over him, and then he just
roofs it against All Black, and then the header for the first one. He was just at that point in his career, right? I think he had basically just like abandoned that side of the game in terms of playing on the wing, beating players. He was just laser focused on scoring goals and being a killer. And that was killer Ronaldo. And then you see the iconic celebration at the end where he's just like leaning against the Bernabeu and looking up like, this is my stage, bro.
This is me,
I'm
bro.
the king of the Champions League. And then we saw what he did in the final against Juventus, where that for me was the best year for Ronaldo in terms of like what he won.
17-18?
16-17. I think goals, stature, like fear factor, aura, that was Ronaldo for me. Noodle hair Ronaldo was a problem, bro.
Bro, I say it all the time. Same way I say with Neymar, I wish you stayed at Barcelona. I just wish Ronaldo stayed. I'm
sure he does too.
I just wish he stayed, bro. I just wish he stayed. Who knows if they'll be the same team now or whatever, but I just wish that guy stayed, man. I never thought moving was the right thing. Whether he came back to Man United and we did our thing, I just never felt that Ronaldo moving from Real Madrid was the right thing to do, man. And
I hear it. There's another thing too about that final or that semifinal. Right before I let you go, Atletico Madrid were starting to like gain this reputation in the paper as like, oh, we have the Ronaldo stopper in Diego Godin. I remember it was a narrative that was starting to fast. And Godin was nice. I always liked Godin. But there was this little like narrative starting like in the Champions League finals in the past. Ronaldo hadn't scored in like 90 minutes and he hadn't had like the greatest games. They were starting to run this narrative that Godin was the Ronaldo stopper. And he had that game. And then when he went to Juventus his first season there, crashed another 3 on them.
That easily could have made it. But you know what? I was thinking about having a Ronaldo one in there, and I would have probably. But now that you've got Cristiano in there, I don't want to have Messi and Ronaldo. I got to talk about, firstly, Thierry Henry at the Bernabeu.
The Gunner Galactico. That commentary is iconic.
The Gunner Galactico. What a thing to say. What a great piece of commentary. You think about it, yeah? That's literally a fact. He was like the kingpin of Arsenal, right? His overall performance was different. He was the only Galactico on the pitch that day.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm telling you now.
True.
And I'm talking about legends of this game.
He showed them all up.
He stamped it at the Bernabeu. The feeling of that one was just so special. So I have to give that one an honorable mention because, wow, bro. It hurts not putting that one in because as a personal favorite, and not putting.
So that's not even in your team.
That's not my team.
You had to give it to me.
I had to give that.
I'm with you.
I had to give. That one has a story, man. That one was different, bro. But now I gotta go with another myth. No, you see me. I like stories. You guys should know by now. I'm a story man. I talk about feelings because I was there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I gotta go with this Brazilian. R9, and again, it's another performance at Old Trafford. Listen, those days I was young, right? You're young those days, and you'd look at it, and it's like there was players that felt like myths. Zidane, R9, even Raul. Them times, not even gonna lie. This is the Real Madrid players. Figo, a lot of these guys in Serie A and stuff. You don't get to see them often, right? R9 came to Old Trafford and like, yo, it's like the world stood still. Everyone's like, let's see what he's gonna do. Do you know what I mean? In the black kit. Beckham and Fergie have this little beef thing going on or whatever. So we're already thinking, so now the tie is already a little bit, we need to do something. R9 just comes along. I think it was Zidane. Boom. Punches the ball. Barthez maybe could have saved it, but punches it.
It's so clean, bro.
1-0. R9, you're thinking, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Let's try and bounce back into this. Man United were doing the things. We got our goals as well. And then you look at the second one as well. Like, obviously that was just predatory instincts. Yeah, I mean, he's there. Roberto Carlos, Zidane slides it through to Roberto Carlos. Roberto Carlos puts it R9, cool, whatever. You're thinking, all right, cool. This is a bit. I'm getting concerned here. This is really. I mean,
it's humbling. I think that's
it is humbling. And you listen to Rio speak about it. He says this is the toughest guy he's ever played against. And then you just look at the third goal. R9 just said, do you know what? This is my stage. Old Trafford hype. Literally, give me the ball. Let me turn. Bang. I had Rude.
I was gonna say you were Rude.
I had Rude.
It's like I'm going to war with this.
I had Rude Van Nistelrooy, who I absolutely adored. And then R9's doing this. I'm like, nah, this is another levels, this is another level. That was the first time as a football fan where I was like speechless. Like, what the hell am I witnessing? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And now I've gotten older. I've seen Zidane's performance like more. I've watched the game over like bare times. I've watched the full 90. And you're like, Zidane is ridiculous. But as a kid, just what R9 did, the iconic hat-trick. And then when he got subbed, Old Trafford stood up and clapped this man off the pitch.
That's another thing. To give a standing ovation. OT don't give those all the time.
I always say there's just some players that felt mythical, man. And R9 was one of them, man. He didn't feel real, bro. I got to go R9. I could sit here and talk about R9 all day, but I'm going to go R9 against Manchester United in 2003. So that's my team completed. Yeah. You read out your team, I read out my team.
I got Lucio in the back against Chelsea in 2009-10. On the right, I got Messi versus Bayern in 14-15. On the left, I got Neymar versus PSG in 16-17. Pulling the strings from midfield is Xavi against United in 08-09. And up front, I got CR7 against Atletico Madrid in 16-17.
Cool. And I've got Sergio Ramos versus Bayern Munich 2014. Kaká versus AC Milan 2007. Gerrard versus AC Milan 2005. I've got Messi versus Arsenal 2010. And I've got R9 versus Manchester United 2003. There's so many performances that we can say, but of course we ain't got time to do all of that. But listen, that's our 2 5-a-side teams. Let us know what side you're rocking with. Are you rocking with Team Lies, who's an Inter Milan fan wearing an AC Milan jersey? You just can't trust them people. Or are you rocking with me, who mine is full of stories, full of emotions.
Stories, you know, hype, bro. You want stories? Come watch the archive, bro.
His is just little, mine have stories, they have feelings, they have everything about them. But listen, I don't want to influence you. That was another episode of FTBL Culture. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. We'll release some graphics. Get involved. Let's have as many comments as we had on the last one, as many likes.
Yeah, thanks.
The reception was great. Listen, that's another one, and we're out.